detail and a love and respect of the concept of team. To take home youth soccer's ultimate prize means beating the nation's best. Get through your state, win your regional, win 2 games here, and leave a national champion. Welcome to Kuntz Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana for the McGuire Cup, the Under-19 National Championship. It's the Scott Gallagher team from St. Louis against FC Delco from Philadelphia. Hello, everybody. I'm Phil Shane, along with Ty Keogh, and a lot of history here today for you personally here in Indianapolis and with the McGuire Cup.
A long history and a history that goes back to 1935. This tournament originally started, was called the National Youth Challenge Cup at that time. Now it's known as the McGuire Cup. I played it not in 1935, in 1975 when my team from St. Louis were champions. But today it's a matchup between 2 powerhouses. They proved that in the semifinal. This FC Delco Force team from Philadelphia, loaded with stars, including their number 8, Judah Cooks. So arrogant in his skills and abilities, he's the leader for Delco at midfield. And for the Scott Gallagher team from St. Louis, their number 18, Mark Phil out of St. Louis University, is a player that can break a game wide open with his one-on-one attacking skills.
You mentioned the arrogance of Judah Cooks. That's something that goes actually throughout the entire team. A lot of these guys might think the McGuire Cup is already theirs. But for Scott Gallagher, a long history, a lot of famous alumni have gone on to even much greater fame. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But these 2 teams, they have center stage, and the opening kickoff comes your way next. The McGuire Cup on ESPN2. Welcome back to Kuntz Stadium. Scott Gallagher from St. Louis and Philadelphia's own FC Delco Force. Ty, the starting lineups.
For Scott Gallagher out of St. Louis, Missouri, they have the Moriarty twins playing in the back. This is the heart and soul of this team. It is a blue-collar sort of team, and they will clean things up at the back. Pat Moriarty, number 2, had some experience with the national youth team. That's them warming up before the game. They both play at St. Louis University. The FC Delco Force out of Philadelphia is a star-laden team. They have 5 players who've played on the national youth team. The one that we want to highlight, though, is the number 9, Ben Olson, who plays at University of Virginia, the perennial NCAA men's soccer champions. And he's a player who likes the ball to feet because he likes to go at players.
A lot of history here, and the McGuire Cup might see a little bit more. What can we expect? Well, we asked the coaches that very question earlier today.
A lot of attack, and we like to attack. We scored 3 tremendous goals tonight, and hopefully we'll finish up Sunday, or Saturday, I should say, with a couple more great ones. And we go forward, and that's the way we train, and those are the things we like to do, and it's entertaining for the people, and that's the way the game's supposed to be played.
We'd like to build through our midfield. And building through our midfield, I think that's always been one of our strengths. Particular central pieces there are very strong, and pushing the ball to our front runners. The mix that we have when we play 2 or 3 up top, they're hard to stay with. And those 3 that are
Had the chance to hear from Todd Warasek from FC Delco and Mike Gavain from Scott Gallagher, and we are underway here in Indianapolis, the Under-19 Championships. Take a look at the conditions here on the field, and for the Midwest this time of year, it's just about perfect. As Scott Gallagher defending the goal towards the left, and an early foul against FC Delco, and they'll have the free kick. 85 degrees, a light wind, but there have been stronger gusts, though, earlier today, Ty.
The only other thing to remark upon as far as the weather is that it's clouding up, and there are thunderstorms perhaps expected. So we'll be watching that. It could change the conditions for the players on the field.
Kevin Kalish sweepings to the near side. David Pop, the Indiana University recruit, knocking it forward. Judah Cooks gets an early touch on it, but can't control. And Scott Gallagher with some nice movement down the near side, trying to hold on to it. Brad Jordan down the line in the middle, back for Jordan. Nice pass from Todd Hunter. Jordan sends it in the middle. Hunter charges, taken away nicely in the back, and FC Delco's defense strong enough that time. Carlos Parra sending it upfield, looking for Cooks. Plenty of yellow and blue surrounding the loose ball. I'd like to thank MasterCard and all of our other sponsors for helping us to bring you today's game without any commercial interruption. Pushing it forward across the midfield line. Cooks getting a touch on it. The number 8, we will see a lot of him, not just here today, but if the coaches have anything to say about it, and if their prognosis is correct, I will be seeing a lot of Judah Cooks in years to come. Long ball pushing it forward. Ben Olsen making a run. Sliding tackle, almost stuck through Mike Moriarty, and that was very dangerous with Olsen on the doorstep. Cooks the soft touch in the middle. Runs all the way through into the box and cleared back to midfield. Near side. Villa making a run, but can't catch up to his own touch. It'll be a throw on for FC Delco in front of the Scott Gallagher bench.
Long ball out of the back by FC Delco. Looking in for Ben Olsen. Mike Moriarty has some problems with it. The ball gets caught under his leg, but he does recover. Otherwise, number 9, Olsen, knows how to put those chances away had he been free in the box.
Throw in from Chris Lynch, Glenside, Pennsylvania native, down the line looking for Adrian Cox, the number 13. Pass to the middle, stolen away by the Missourians, and pushing it forward, trying to swing it through Jeff DeMaria, but straight to FC Delco again. FC Delco wearing the dark jerseys and white shorts, moving from the right to the left here in half number 1. A little bit of pushing going on, but no foul as Tim Sahadic takes a seat. Holding on to it for FC Delco. Parra in the midfield and pushes it to Cooks with some space in front of him. The Washington, D.C. native brings it to his right foot, tries to send it into the corner, but just off the mark. It'll be a goal kick for Scott Gallagher.
Too much space perhaps there for Judah Cooks. That's something Scott Gallagher cannot allow. Cooks is the leader at midfield for the FC Delco team, wearing number 8. And he really could have taken a shot as he had no defenders anywhere near him, and he was definitely within shooting range.
You also saw Ben Olsen trying to work his way into space. The number 9 has been dangerous so far early. Still no score. Bill Shane, Ty Keogh with you here at Indianapolis. The McGuire Cup Championships.
And make no mistake, this is a national championship for boys under 19. And with so many skillful players and players with collegiate experience already, as well as youth national team experience, what we're going to see here is a war at midfield. It's pretty much what we've seen already as each team tries to really stem the tide at midfield. Here's some of the battling going on at midfield on the far side. And that was Steve Armas, number 5 for Delco. FC Delco sending his opponent over the sideline.
Up and Bocklage. Nice give and go and a nice touch on by Jordan. Bocklage tries to center it, sending it over the end line. Coral, it'll be a free kick, corner kick for Scott Gallagher, the first of the game. And it's a nice movement by Bocklage to get open down the line, and Bradley Jordan almost had the cross in. Good look there. Ryan Gibbons, the red-headed keeper for FC Delco.
Scott Gallagher, a big team, and could have some dominance here on corner kicks with the high balls coming in.
Getting set to take the corner. Todd Hunter. Right foot, long towards the back post. Bocklage heading it straight into the air, bringing it down. Bestie, Mark Bestie, dribbles out of the box, holding on to possession, and on his back, number 15, Chris Lynch. Pushing and shoving, and the foul will go against FC Delco. They'll surrender the free kick, and this could be dangerous, just some 5 yards away from the box and 5 yards from the end line.
Todd Warasek, the coach for the FC Delco squad. And they actually have players from 5 different states. They've really put together quite a team over the last couple of years.
6 Scott Gallagher players in the box. Getting ahead on it by Garcia. Still in play. Left-footed centering pass headed forward by Moriarty, and trying to make the run Todd Hunter, but he couldn't keep it in play. A goal kick for FC Delco. FC Delco got here in the semifinals just a couple of nights ago, knocking off the Clearwater Chargers by a score of 4-2. We've already seen Todd Hunter make that Scott Gallagher. They had a couple of goals for Hunter. Looking to make a run. Hard tackle by Filla. He's not going to give an inch if he doesn't have to. Across midfield. Physical play by both teams so far. Jordan with the throw in at the midfield stripe. Pushing it forward. Bockledge wasn't quite expecting it. And as he fights for possession, going down, Adrian Cox, and the foul against Bockledge, and a free kick for FC Delco.
The Scott Gallagher team in their traditional yellow and blue a la Brazil. That's who they idolize. A little holding going on there. Ben Bockledge, number 9 for Scott Gallagher in yellow. A physical specimen. He will play very aggressively.
Nice hustle there. Dodging the threat. Pat Moriarty tries to send it to the near side, but good work that time by the number 11, Mike Correll. Down the flank, Sahedek, strong left foot, tries to flip it over. Mike Moriarty, it'll be a dangerous play and a free kick for Scott Gallagher. You mentioned the Brazilian look for Mike Gavane's club, and it's kind of interesting. When this team was formed back in 1979, they walked into the sporting goods store. He told us the story yesterday, and they were looking at 2 jerseys. It was either Argentina or Brazil, and it just so happened they had more Brazilian jerseys, and that's what they went up with. Otherwise, it could have been powder blue stripes here today. Easily could have been Argentina, as Argentina were world champions in 1978, just before then. So obviously someone got there and got their mementos just in time. Otherwise, might be a little different look on your screen. Giving chase far side, Phila. What a physical specimen, and he almost comes away with it. Nice work instead, holding on by Steve Armas, and FC Delco will try and get something going from the midfield, but Phila again knocks it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in. Some collegiate flavor to both of these teams for FC Delco Force. We've got 2 players currently on Maryland's squad, and that's Judah Cooks, their number 8, who we talked about a moment ago, and also Steve Armas, the number 5 in black. He plays at Maryland, and going to Maryland, Carlos Parra, who's now in the defensive midfield and wearing number 16 for the Delco Force. Take a look also at where these players come from, and for Scott Gallagher, a lot of them have played for quite some time. As Judah Cooks tries to make a run, eludes 1 tackle and holds on to possession. Kevin Kalish tries to shield him away and does a nice job. Some spinning and shoving going on, and the foul will go against Cooks. Good defense by Kalish to win the ball away. Wasn't easy. Good look at Judah Cooks there. He gets caught trying to hook the defender Kalish. Kalish gets bumped by Cooks, bumps him back. Now Cooks will hook him. And finally, the call will go out in favor of Scott Gallagher as they were defending. Here's the long shot from Jordan, straight on and no problem. Tim Kelly in goal. Tim Estep also perhaps just as good, and he actually helped get them here in the semifinals. Mike Gavane telling each keeper that they would each have a game, and Kelly getting the chance to bring the cup back to St. Louis. Tim Kelly's brother Dan plays at St. Louis University, as do 3 of the Scott Gallagher players. The Moriarty twins, we already mentioned, they play at St. Louis University, but also Mark Phila, number 18, probably their main goal scoring threat. Was a freshman at St. Louis Union, was injured after only about 5 games and missed the rest of the season. Esty pushing it into space, but no one running around. Easily guarded back by Pi Garcia, and Brian Givens will hold on. The West Virginia keeper to be, taking his time. Just about 10 minutes gone here in half number 1. Near the midfield, Jeff DeMaria. Going to be playing at UConn. Good prospect there for Joe Maroney and company. Touch just rolls off the boot in front of their own bench. It'll be a throw-in instead for FC Delco as Phila is trying to go down the line. This is going to be a battle. Parra against Phila, and a nice hack behind the heels. It'll be the foul, and Parra comes away unscathed this time. Carlos Parra, very experienced defender. Here he comes in, gets the inside track on Mark Phila. Carlos Parra then uses his body well. He's matching up very well physically with Phila. Phila then cheap shots him from behind. Carlos Parra plays sweeper and stopper with the U.S. under-20 national team. So he knows how to deal with power forwards like a Mark Phila. And that was a battle of parade All-Americans. In fact, Parra will soon be a Terrapin at Maryland. Long pass pushed by Bockledge, and it rolls the wrong way. He tried to go across field. Instead, it went straight to the arms of Brian Givens. Carlos Parra out of Connecticut, but he came down to join this Pennsylvania team, FC Delco. As we mentioned, they have players from 5 different states, including Maryland, D.C., also Connecticut, as we mentioned. Obviously, Pennsylvania also included. Yep. Delaware. Delaware's the 5th one, right? to the near side. FC Delco looking to make a run. Knocked out by Mike Moriarty. One of several sets of twins we'll get the chance to see today. Moriarty starting a goatee Fu Manchu style. That separates him a little bit from his twin brother Pat, who's also in the back wearing the number 2. You talked about the diversity of FC Delco, Ty, but Scott Gallagher in St. Louis, 5 of the guys are from one high school. That's Christian Brothers College High School, one of the top teams in the nation. And in fact, you take a look, 12 of the players who are here today for Scott Gallagher come from 3 high schools. Smith Jesuit and Aquinas Mercy, the other 2.
Perennial state champions, all of them in Missouri for the various levels, the smaller schools and the larger schools.
Judah Cooks, the erstwhile national teamer from D.C. Throws it in. Olsen pushed from behind. It'll be a foul and a free kick, and trying to slow things down, Adrian Cox. Not a bad idea. Not much was going to come if they took that quickly. Too many yellow shirts in between. Cox, the Havertown, Pennsylvania native, will now move off down the wing, and Carmelo Pai Garcia gets set to boot it with the right foot. 5'10", 19-year-old towards the back post, and jumping high, Kelly banged in the back as he comes down with it. No harm, but there is a foul and a free kick inside the box.
And the target on all of these FC Delco free kicks at the back post is Correll, and we'll see Kelly going all the way back towards that back post. He goes up high and is piled into from behind by Mike Correll. Correll, the best player in the air for FC Delco.
He's the youngest one on this team. Born July 17th, just celebrated his 19th birthday, and already at 6'1", 165 pounds. Syracuse has a good prospect there in coming years.
Tim Kelly, though, looked pretty sure of himself, stretching high for that ball. That was crossed to the back post.
Poor pass taken away by Sahadak, and he tries to out-dribble David Pop. He's taken to the turf. It was not intentional, most likely, but the yellow card does come out, and David Pop goes in the books. Sahadak appears to be okay.
The referee wisely trying to slow down some of this persistent fouling. The bad pass out of the back originally. Dave Pop trying to get back in position. The number 3 for Scott Gallagher reaches for the ball. Can't get to it, gets to the ankle of Sahadak and receives a yellow card for his efforts.
Sahadak from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. A Tar Heel at UNC. The wall. 5 for Scott Gallagher and 2 rather strategically placed players from FC Delco. 4 forced players around the ball, including Judah Cooks, Ben Olsen, Steve Armas wearing the number 5 as Tim Kelly gets set, dancing nervously. Sahadak, the strongest left foot, will make the run. Instead, they'll leave it for Armas. What a save by Kelly, pushing it wide as Armas sent it in on a rope. Pushing it wide, but it will be a corner as FC Delco keeps the pressure up.
And Scott Gallagher goalkeeper Tim Kelly severely tested again. A moment ago, it was a cross into the box, and he had to go high for it. This one, a driven ball by Steve Armas through some traffic. It's fully loaded, and Tim Kelly luckily got enough behind it to steer it over the bar.
They will do a little trickery on the corner, and Kelly again handles the high ball. Let's take a look back.
Kelly does the right thing, because Armas is all over this. The weight's behind the shot, and Kelly makes sure that he gets the base of his palms behind the ball, because if you just try and put your fingertips to it, that had enough force to carry through.
It was knuckling as well. Might have found a way even just to slip through, but great play so far by Tim Kelly in the Scott Gallagher net. Far side Armas. That's the man who tested him just moments ago, and he's on the ball again. Armas wearing the number 5, pushing it forward. Sahadak has switched over to the right side, pushing for the ball and coming away with it. Adrian Cox came in cleats up, but no call. That one is a hard foul, and it will be whistled as Carlos Parra perhaps getting a little bit of revenge and getting a yellow card to boot. The last time we saw Carlos, he was getting hacked across the back of the heels. This time he did it straight up.
Studs up, Carlos Parra. He comes in just a little bit late to upend the Scott Gallagher midfielder, number 12, Di Maria. And you gotta play the ball, folks. Parra misses the ball completely, takes the man's legs out, and sends Di Maria flying. And now we've got a yellow card each way in this match. First one to Pop, number 3 for Scott Gallagher. The second one to Carlos Parra. wearing number 5 for FC. I take that back. Wearing number 16 for FC Delco.
Baklich pushed it down the flank. Thought he had enough pace to get there, but didn't. Garcia had him shielded and cut off, and pulls on the jersey. That's the reason the whistle blows, and a free kick for the Force back towards their own goal line. FC Delco playing somewhat of a 3-5-2. Sweeper, 2 marking backs. Lots of midfield play. More traditional 4-4-2 for Scott Gallagher.
Exactly. The contrast very evident as Gallagher, as they always do, play with 4 across the back, but they do play with a deep sweeper in Kevin Kalish, their number 7.
Nice move by Olsen. Denied by his fellow number 9, Baklich. It'll be a throw-in just in front of the FC Delco bench.
You mentioned some of the college connections. You can't hardly talk about the Scott Gallagher roster without mentioning Southwest Missouri State. Of the full roster, 5 players play at Southwest Missouri.
Some sloppy passes of late as both teams giving the ball away. Dan Collins, perhaps the most undersung player on this 4 squad, knocking it back to Parra, who pushes up. Tracking it in the corner, Steve Armas. He'll let it roll over the end line for a corner kick.
That shot was blocked by number 2 for Scott Gallagher, Pat Moriarty. And of the twins, he's the one that probably gotten the most attention, having played with the under-17 national team a couple years ago.
Armas laying it back. Collins can have a shot. Instead, he'll chip it in. Kelly fighting for the ball and jumps just over Correll to grab it. A little bit of contact and the whistle blows again. Correll against Kelly. It looks like we'll be seeing that all afternoon.
Exactly. That was the mirror image of the last play at the opposite post. And again, Correll is the target for the high balls in the box, but Tim Kelly measures it well, goes all the way up fully extended, takes the bump from Correll, and still holds on. Foul called against Correll as he made contact after the play.
Di Maria tries to dribble his way through the entire defense and gets almost that far, only to be taken down hard by Pi Garcia. Hard enough for Alex Delangel to pull out the yellow card again. The 3rd of the day and the 2nd against FC Delco.
Out near the sideline, Pi Garcia sliding through, and he did actually get some of the ball initially. But he certainly was looking at the man as well. And the referee again clamping down with the 3rd yellow card in really the early stages of this game thus far.
Not even 20 minutes gone. More yellows than shots so far for the Scott Gallagher, and that's in large part because Tim Kelly hasn't given them a chance to get a shot off.
Pi Garcia transferring from Hartwick over to UMass this summer.
Mike Moriarty to the far side, into the middle, trying to get the ball to Hunter. Cleared away briefly. Di Maria comes away with it. Nice dribble to the inside. He'll hold on to possession, knocking it back to Kalish, who's at the right back, pushing up from his sweeper position. Sliding in Moriarty to knock the ball loose. Push to the ground. It'll be a free kick. Olsen.
Very physical match thus far. 3 yellow cards already. Both teams have some big players, but Scott Gallagher does have the advantage overall, and that could definitely come into play, in particular on corner kicks, high balls, free kicks into the box.
Chipping it in, looking for Filla. Cleared away. Garcia headed back. Jordan for Scott Gallagher. And out of bounds on the near side, and a throw-in for Scott Gallagher. Nice catch by Olsen. He was out of bounds, though, so 3rd and 10. They'll try it again.
Number 9, Ben Olsen, out of Middleton, Pennsylvania, plays at Virginia. He's had experience also with the youth national team at the under-20 level.
Nice back heel by Jordan, but Filla wasn't expecting it. Olsen has dropped way back into the midfield from his front running position for FC Delco. Sahadak, the only man up front, and they're looking for him. But Moriarty, Mike Moriarty, comes away with a boot to knock it back and give the Scott Gallagher defense a chance to drop. Far side. Pushing forward Armas. It will roll off of Armas's boot. He's looking at the linesman on the far side, and the call was corrected, so FC Delco gets the chance. Armas into the middle, looking for Olsen, gets over him, headed away nicely on the back post by Bradley Jordan. Won by Sahadak as he tries to get the cross, and no deflection. It will be a goal kick. Sahadak bouncing the ball towards the referee, and that's very close to a card again. He lost his cool.
He's asking for a card. He's also asking for the call, which he was probably correct on. There was another deflection. That was, at least the look I had at it, that it was definitely a corner kick. Not called that way by the referee. Sahedek better cool his jets just a little bit. He wants to avoid any confrontations with the referee.
Not even midway through the first half. That's not a good sign for Sahedek. Not a good sign for Todd Warasek, the coach. Throwing for Scott Gallagher just in front of their own bench.
The clouds have definitely rolled in, and this cloud cover should benefit the players in terms of their stamina to be able to continue to push through the entire 90 minutes. And of course, if it's tied after 90, we would be looking at a full 30 minutes of overtime.
They'll try it again. David Pop already has one yellow card, the St. Charles, Missouri native. Jerry Yeagley's property at Indiana for the next several years. Nice move this time by Moriarty to push up into the midfield, and he'll lay it off to the far side. Kalish is now swung over to the left side, pushing it forward, trying to get the ball to Todd Hunter, but stealing it away nicely, Dan Collins. Armas and Olsen pushing forward. On the outside of the boot, looking for Olsen. A nice pass by Adrian Cox. Olsen will try and get it towards the middle. Here's Sahedek. The right-footed volley deflects away and finally cleared. Mark Bestie getting a boot on it. The future of women's soccer will be on the field tomorrow. The girls under 19s playing for their national championship. It's the J. Ross Stewart Cup. You'll see it Sunday at 5 Eastern on ESPN2. Sahedek getting the ball on the right foot there, Ty. If that had been to the left, it might have been a goal.
Well, but Pat Moriarty, the stopper for Scott Gallagher, number 2 in yellow, well positioned to block the shot right off of Sahedek's right foot.
Nice cross by Olsen. Have to keep an eye on that. He's been testy inside the box to this point, but that time showed some danger outside.
The FC Delco force out of Philadelphia have the cross coming in from Ben Olsen. It's a well-placed cross. Sahedek turns on and strikes it first time, but right out in front of him, Pat Moriarty making the block.
Pushing foul as Steve Armas goes down. Nice play by Sahedek.
Give credit to Dave Pop, actually, number 3, for blocking that shot, not Pat Moriarty off of Sahedek, the one we just saw in the replay.
Sahedek, 6 feet, uses all of them to try and get a head on it towards Ben Olsen, but straight back into Kelly's arms. Kelly from St. Peters, Missouri, the youngest player on this team, 2 weeks younger than Jeff DiMaria. Going to Flo Valley Community College, Florissant Valley. And when you talk about Southwest Missouri State, obviously St. Louis, Quincy right up the road also. Then you have Flo Valley. It seems as though the center of the collegiate soccer universe rotates right around that St. Louis area.
Florissant Valley have won many national championships at the junior college level, and their coach, Pete Sorber, father of U.S. World Cup star Mike Sorber. So a couple of these guys on the Scott Gallagher team play for Mike Sorber's dad, Pete.
And Mike also a former Scott Gallagher player. In fact, didn't even get to that powerhouse at Washington U yet.
We hope so.
Ty obviously coaches there. A lot of talent, as we see already here today. Jeff DiMaria, the second youngest player, getting the return pass nicely. Judah Cooks giving chase. The number 8 for FC Delco. Collins gets there first. Tries to take him down. DiMaria with a spin move down the end line. Tries to cut inside past Cooks. Taken down, but no whistle. Alex DelAngel says play on.
Good defending there by Judah Cooks. He just got his body on the inside track. And I'm going to give some credit here to our referee, Alex DelAngel. He gave out 3 yellow cards early on, and now both of these teams have settled down to play more real soccer rather than a lot of the battering that was going on initially.
Corral kept it in play. And earlier, perhaps before those yellow cards, that might have been time for a very physical challenge, but instead Scott Gallagher just drops back and picks the ball off, promptly giving it back, and Corral taken down hard that time, but cleanly by Moriarty.
Exactly. Both teams still playing very hard, but they've cut out the nonsense, and the referee should be given credit for that, as these teams have started to play more entertaining soccer. They're not playing any less hard, but they're playing within the rules now.
Outside of the boot. Cox pushing it forward for Armas. Cleared away. Bestie towards the center circle where Todd Hunter was the only player wearing yellow and blue. Long ball. Looking for Chris Lynch. He got there, but not in time. It does force the air and clear, and it goes out for a throw-in for FC Delco. Getting set to take it, Adrian Cox, soon to be a Richmond Spider, 19-year-old from Havertown, Pennsylvania, 4-time All-State player from Pennsylvania. And you know he's been used to hustling, one of 13 kids. When the family's that big, you have to run everywhere if you want to get there in time, especially dinner time. Nice touch by Cox. Armas tries to get inside the box. Sahadak, a collision. And this is after the initial whistle and foul. And Sahadak just saying, hey, he had a hold of my shorts. Alex Delangelo over quickly to try and make sure that nothing further progressed from that.
Armas again causing problems down the right side. Before it was Olsen out there too. Now here's the charge on Sahadak, and then he pulls down Mike Moriarty, the one with the Fu Manchu. So a physical matchup going on.
Just over 17 minutes left to go. Dave Pop. Moriarty playing the stopper role, swinging it out to his brother Mike Moriarty. And they're playing more, instead of just a fullback position, man markers today. And Moriarty trying to follow Olsen around as far as he can. And the number 3 Pop has been keeping a close eye on Tim Sahadak.
Important matchup. So the more important one could be at midfield. Which key midfielder can get the most going for his team? And that would be Di Maria for Scott Gallagher. He's wearing number 12 for them in yellow. And of course, Judah Cooks, we've already mentioned, the number 8 at midfield for the FC Delco Force. That's could be where the game is determined.
You see Cooks appealing for a foul that wasn't coming as he and Pat Moriarty collide. It will go against the black-clad FC Delco squad, and an early substitution getting set to come in for Scott Gallagher.
Judah Cooks, number 8 there on your screen, also a player that at one time was being considered to be a part of the Olympic team. Didn't quite make it all the way, but good enough to be looked at very strongly.
Mark Bestie, Southwest Missouri State product, coming out. Eddie Schoenbein steps in, teammate from SMSU. 6'2", 180 pounds for Schoenbein.
So Scott Gallagher add to the height advantage on the field for them. But Schoenbein, number 13, plays out on the left side and has a very technically adept left foot. He serves the ball and he can bring down balls in tight spaces.
Throw in for Chris Lynch. Judah Cooks. Dan Collins pinching towards the middle as FC Delco tries to get something going with just over 15 minutes left in the first half. Olsen giving chase. Mike Moriarty gets there first, getting it to Kevin Kalish, the number 7. Pat Moriarty swings around from behind Armas and gets the ball. Lucky not to have a foul called. Normally, even if you do that cleanly, the whistle will blow.
The Moriarty twins love to get dirty. They like to play hard, and they'll slide in on every tackle. That one was borderline foul, but it was aggressive, and that's the only way they know how to play.
Composed play by Kalish, coming away with it, and a nice touch back. He's still on the ball.
Kalish, the balance in the back for the Moriartys. They get the brass tacks out. They're the piano movers. He's the piano player in the back.
And here comes the piano, Mark Filler. Nice play by Boklich to find him down the wing, and Filler almost had it until he was double teamed. Substitution now getting set to come in for FC Delco. Mike Correll will come off. He's been one of the targets up front, and getting set to come in Reagan Bender. He scored one of the goals for FC Delco in their 4-1 win over the Columbine Jesters from Colorado in the semifinals. So taking a seat, Correll and Bender in. Lancaster, Pennsylvania native. He's going to Pitt. 5'9", 150 pounds, as he will step into the game. Throw in for FC Delco, and they'll send it back into the arms of Brian Gibbons as you take a look at Correll trying to recharge himself.
Some big boys out there. Yeah, they are.
Givens. Long boot flicked on nicely by Olsen, off of Mike Moriarty. Olsen tries to win the ball back, and it will be a throw-in for FC Delco. Nice pass. Olsen tries to cut inside, but Kalish again showing some intelligent play to cut away with it. Is in the under 17 and under 18 national team pools, a 3-time All-State player. If he keeps playing for that or like that for UConn in the Big East, he might be another player to keep an eye on in the future.
No, really not.
Todd Warasek, Rob Smith, the coaching tandem for FC Delco that have gotten them this far. 3-time Eastern Pennsylvania champs as they find themselves here representing Region 1. And another yellow card, this time against FC Delco, and will go against Steve Armas.
No hesitation by the referee, Alex Del Angel, to bring out the yellow cards, and it's been pretty effective. But Armas there coming in a bit recklessly, the number 5 for the FC Delco force, and he got a yellow card. And Del Angel is right on top of things.
Near side, Kalish eluding Sahedek, his fellow number 7, and coming forward nicely as they work the give and go to perfection. However, the ball hits Del Angel, only to find the boot of Pat Moriarty. So Scott Gallagher comes away with a break. Far side, pushing it forward. Schoenbein into the middle. Letting it run on was Bradley Jordan, but no one was on the back door. Bocklage slides in hard. Does get a boot to it. It will go over the near side. Dan Collins jogging over to take the throw. Collins, big number 2 from Morrisville, Pennsylvania. Greensboro College. Again, another collision as Olsen flies into Pat Moriarty. Schoenbein. Filla trying to steal it away by Garcia. Taking it away, Todd Hunter. Todd Hunter on the far side. Inside for Filla. He's not afraid to shoot if he can get the ball. Instead, he does a nice job flicking it to himself, trying to send it to the far side, looking for Brad Jordan. But coming out to grab it, Brian Givens.
Still on the sideline is Correll, number 11 for Delco, but treating him, Rudy Radowski. So some advantage maybe for FC Delco. They have the U.S. national team trainer on their sideline, helping out Correll. And the substitution rules are similar to NCAA in that you can only re-enter once during each half of play. So Correll can come back on the field. Olsen going up high here onto the back of Mike Moriarty. So the foul goes against Delco.
This time Armas colliding with Filla. They're going to take this one back, it looks like, taking a little bit too quickly the free kick.
We looked at Ben Olsen. There's Judah Cooks. All of these players, virtually all of these players, already have a year's collegiate experience under their belts, and perhaps that's why they're playing as physically as they are. They've been tested at that next level.
Sahedek, soft left foot, trying to find Chris Lynch in the middle. You could see him fake the shot and then flip it up. A good idea, but just over Lynch's head. Kelly on the far side taking his time, sending this one back into play. Bender looking for Cox. Too long, and Scott Gallagher comes away with it. Scott Gallagher, the Region 2 champions out of St. Louis, Missouri State champions 3 times. This is the first time they've been back in the finals for a long time, though, Ty.
They actually won this McGuire Cup championship, which is symbolic of the under-19 boys champion for the entire country. They won it in '81 and 1984. A member of the '81 team was their coach, Mike Gavain.
Remember the '84 team, Steve Tritchett. Parra pushing it forward. Long ball for Sahedek, way over his head and into Tim Kelly's arms.
We've mentioned that this can be a stepping stone to bigger and better things soccer-wise, a national tournament, a championship, a showcase for youth talent in this country. And many players have gone on from this competition, and just from the Scott Gallagher team, you've got 6 players currently under contract with MLS teams. Of course, Mike Sorber a starter in the midfield for the U.S. national team. Steve Ralston setting the world on fire for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. They're in first place in the Eastern Conference of MLS.
5 or 6 goals from out of nowhere. And also, don't even forget, Kansas City even has another one with Billy Baumhoff. They're one of their developmental players, and several of these players.
McCune played quite a lot for the U.S. Olympic team also.
Several of these players on their way to MLS contracts in the coming years.
Not only Scott Gallagher, at halftime we have a feature regarding some other players such as Marcelo Balboa, who have gone on from this competition to the U.S. World Cup team.
Nice play by Phillip, but he couldn't get the cross in. Passed by Garcia. Parra on the near side.
Carlos Parra on the ball here. I believe the only player on the field currently for either team who's not played college soccer. He will be attending Maryland this fall, but it's not like he's inexperienced. He starts for the U.S. national under-20 youth team.
Lynch. Cox in the middle and pushing forward. Steve Armas, but it goes over his head. Sahadak might have gotten away with a little bit of a push. Sahadak comes away with it again inside the 6 and grabbing it with his feet and then jumping on the loose ball. Another brilliant play from Tim Kelly. Sahadak using his physique and his skill and almost dribbled his way into the net.
Sahadak perhaps a little too temperamental for his own good. He had quit on this play after he got fooled by the bounce and was bumped. Suddenly he looks around. Oh, there is a game going on. He's on to it. Good move here to get past Pop. But look at this, picked clean by the feet of goalkeeper Tim Kelly. And that's an unorthodox save, but it was effective there.
That's why you don't clip your toenails if you're a goalkeeper. You might need just every single inch that you can get.
Sahadak again seeming to have a little problems keeping his head in the game. He's obviously a dangerous player. He's a player, though, that normally plays as a marking back, but because of his tremendous speed and aggressiveness, FC Delco Force are using him as a front runner.
Coming out for Scott Gallagher, the number 15 Todd Hunter. Stepping in, Michael Francis. 14 comes on for FC Delco, Josh Stoltzfus. And Carlos Parra takes a seat. Stoltzfus from Wilmersdorf, Pennsylvania, goes to James Madison, 5'9", 170 pounds. Been hampered a little bit by a hamstring injury. For as far as Francis goes, might recognize the last name. Hazelwood, Missouri native. Went to Arkansas Little Rock before they lost their program. Now going to Flo-Val to get his second year. 6'2½", 200 pounds. 19 years of age, and the nephew of Ron Francis, the high-scoring forward for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Looking to try and get a chance. Jeff DiMaria down the near side. Joshua into the middle, straight on. The header goes straight into the arms of Brian Gibbon. Perhaps a little bit better could have been done that time by Botledge.
A lot of players coming off, being substituted for already. They can't come back on in this half, but they can come back into the game in the second half of play. So, again, similar to NCAA rules.
Olsen and Moriarty. Moriarty almost bangs into his own keeper, but Kelly, again, the man on the spot. Todd Warasek trying to keep his bench into the game. Another sub could be coming in just moments. Gus and Grilly warming up on the near sideline as the ball goes all the way towards the far end line and keeping it in play by Garcia. Pushing it up nicely. Adrian Cox, 4-time All-State player, down the wing. Sahadak tries to cut inside and gets leveled by the crossarm to the neck. Long pass pushed forward by Mike Moriarty for Scott Gallagher.
The best chances overall offensively have come from the FC Delco Force. Early on, Scott Gallagher had a couple of corner kicks which they threatened on, but Tim Kelly, the goalkeeper for Scott Gallagher at our left, definitely has had a lot more to deal with out in front of him, as Delco Force have created the most dangerous attacks of this game.
Phil Shane, Ty Keogh with you from Indianapolis this afternoon. Kuntz Stadium and FC Delco pushing hard to try and get a goal before the half. Here's one of the other substitutes, Tim Matter, trying to clear the ball, but straight to Judah Cooks. The low shot. Olsen tried to hop over it. Instead, it hit his feet and knocked him to the ground. Cooks got a lot on it. I don't think it was that much. I think it was just a matter of Olsen losing his balance. But here's a nice chance for Scott Gallagher, getting some numbers up. 4-on-3 if they hurry, but the errant pass, perhaps a touch too quick by Jeff DiMaria, and sent high into the stands as DeMaria almost had a breakaway.
Jeff DeMaria, number 12 for Scott Gallagher, the engine of their midfield, and he wanted Bockledge to come to him on that. They miscommunicated, but DeMaria plays at UConn. DeMaria's dad played at Quincy College, where he was an NAIA champion. This is Jeff DeMaria. His dad was a goalkeeper, but there's the miscommunication there. They wanted to play to feet. The attacker was still running away.
And if Bockledge had cut in on a slant, that might have been a chance to split the defense.
They had numbers up. Gallagher did for one of the few times this game.
Hard tackle by another one of the new players, Reagan Bender, 19-year-old. Gus Zengrilli has entered the game. Council Rock, Pennsylvania native, going to Lehigh in the under-17 pool.
Both coaches obviously very confident in the depth of their benches.
This will be a deep throw-in for Scott Gallagher. And Phila looking to use all of his 6'2" frame. Punching it high into the air. Givens, the header goes in, but the foul was called. It will be a free kick just inside the area.
The whistle blew at the near post on the bump. So every player knew that, even as the ball went into the net, that the goal would not count. Phila with the big throw into the Delco forced penalty area. Goalkeeper there bumped by the Gallagher player. The whistle had already blown.
Looks like it might have been Bockledge charging in hard, trying to get something going before the half. 2 minutes. Phila loses his footing briefly. That's the first time we've seen that all day, as the field in perfect condition despite a large number of games over the past few days. Near side, Bender trying to send it down to Zahadak, getting some help from Collins, who's pushing forward. Zahadak, who had one of the better chances for FC Delco, in a right-footed volley, only to be blocked by the defense. And another one only to be denied by the boot of goalkeeper Tim Kelly. Again dangerous, this time the throw-in. Moriarty getting ahead on it. Scott Gallagher coming away with it. Nice play by Phila. Mike Francis also trying to use his frame to come away. Phila pushing a touch too hard, and Steve Armas trying to figure out what state he's in at the moment, it looks like.
Not a pretty game up to this point. A typical final, in fact. You have 20 fouls here in the first half of play, in the closing moments of the first half of play. We've also seen both teams play pretty cautiously in terms of how many players they commit forward. And it's unusual. Both of these teams won their semifinals on Friday night. They each scored 4 goals in the semifinal, but they've not really threatened here.
This could be a chance with just 1 minute left. Judah Cooks and the defense backing off. Cooks to the right foot. Zahadak now has it on his left. Zahadak fires it in on the one-hot. Kelly smothers it.
Good strike off the left hook, left foot of Zahadak, and that is his preferred weapon near the top of the box. I would have liked to have seen him work the 1-2 with Judah Cook, just a quick touch back into space. Instead, he stops it and then goes to hit this ball on the turn, and it is through the legs of a defender out in front, so an even tougher save for Tim Kelly than it might have looked initially, because he was screened out in front.
Time winding down. Alex Delangelo is the only man who really knows how much time is left in the first half.
Zahadak hit that shot pretty well, but Judah Cooks wanted it back on the 1-2 and may have been able to break through. He was open.
Bockledge trying to guard the ball away from Judah Cooks, but Cooks comes away with it. Now to Ben Olsen. Olsen stepping over the ball as he looked before he passed. Mike Francis looking for the return pass from Schoenbein, but Garcia, the long ball. Zahadak bringing it down, trying to flick it to himself, and does. Zahadak still on the ball, double teamed into the middle. The chance on goal. Kelly pushes it wide. Bender almost had it. Zahadak comes over for the rebound. It's cleared across the end line for the corner. Another good opportunity as we've headed towards injury time here in the first half, and FC Delco almost got a goal on the board.
A little bit of inventiveness just before then by Zahadak nearly set up this goal, and again Tim Kelly forced to save down low on a wicked shot from near the top of the box.
Here's the corner. Into the middle. Cooks over the bar on the side volley. Judah Cooks open at the penalty spot as Bockledge had slipped, and Todd Warasek's team is showing some offensive firepower. They've done everything but put it in the net, thanks in large part to Tim Kelly
Tim Kelly, the Scott Gallagher goalkeeper, has been there. Look at this, though. Inventiveness by Sahadak. He lifts it past 2 Gallagher defenders, spins then, eludes 2 more. Nice outside of the left foot pass to set up the shot. And now it's still 0-0 because of Tim Kelly.
The first half has come to a close. Scott Gallagher. Brian Givens has helped keep that scoreless. FC Delco has had their chances as well. No score at the half. Back with the festivities after this on ESPN2. You can see the clouds starting to roll in. It might make it a little bit wet here as the second half just seconds away from getting underway. Scott Gallagher wearing the gold jerseys, blue shorts, and they get the ball to start half number 2. Pushing forward, Phila trying to get the ball quickly to Todd Hunter. Cleared away by FC Delco, and in the middle, Pat Moriarty coming away with it. U.S. Youth Soccer and ESPN would like to thank Kodak and all of our other U.S. Youth Soccer sponsors for bringing you today's game action commercial free. Scott Gallagher moving from the right to the left. The Missouri champions attacking the Eastern Pennsylvania champions out of Philadelphia, the FC Delco Force. Both of these teams have won 3 of their regional championships respectively.
These clubs at other age levels have also won national championships. FC Delco won the '89 Nyotas Cup, which is for under 16s.
Ball in from Mike Moriarty, flies over everyone's head, and Judah Cooks will watch it go over the end line, but not before knocking down Todd Hunter in the process. No foul, and it will be a goal kick for Brian Givens. 19-year-old from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, had the chance to see his dad during the halftime. Now you know where he got his big size. 6'1", 200 pounds, and he is going to West Virginia. A lot of these players going to Big East schools as they've tried to catch up with the ACC among the Eastern powers. Throw in down the line. Olsen taking a shoulder charge, and speaking of the ACC, he is a Virginia product. Back to DC zone. Cooks leaving it in for Para. He pushes it forward for Sahadak, the dangerous number 7, and instead it finds the boot of Mike Moriarty, who sends it back to the midfield. Kalish, Hunter into the middle. Back for Kalish, who's pushing forward, trying to get it to Phila, but before he can get the pass off, Judah Cooks takes him down. Cooks wearing the number 8 today from Washington, D.C. A physical, gifted, talented player, as is Ben Bartlett, who just came away with that one. Here's the chance for Phil, and he rifles the ball over the net. He had that one teed up from about 30-35 yards away and just got under it.
There's the goalkeeper, Brian Givens. Plays at West Virginia. Hasn't had that much to look at out in front of him as Scott Gallagher were dominated to some degree in terms of chances on goal by this FC Delco Force team in the first half of play.
3 up top.
Mike Devane, we already mentioned the fact that one of the championships they won he was on in '84. Steve Tritchu among the Scott Gallagher alums. Olsen coming all the way back to win the ball. Pushing forward, Zangrilli, who starts the second half. Battling forward with Mark Bestie, and Bestie takes Zangrilli down. The ball rolls over the sideline. It will be a throw-in for Scott Gallagher. Rockledge looking for Hunter. Collins uses his height. Kalish to the middle. Pat Moriarty. Long ball for Phila. Far side, Garcia sending it out for the throw-in. Phil Shane and Ty Keogh coming to you live from Kunst Stadium in Indianapolis, the site of the Under-19 Championships, the 1996 Snickers U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships, the McGuire Cup for the boys. Moving from the right to the left here in half number 2, Scott Gallagher, the Region 2 champions out of St. Louis, Missouri, and wearing the black jerseys and white shorts and suffering the high kick dangerous play foul right there. FC Delco Force out of the Philadelphia area, the Region 1 champs, and they're defending the goal to the left. And this perhaps the most sustained offense that Scott Gallagher has had all game. The missed touch by John Rutland, who's on the field. Gives the ball back to the yellow and blue clad St. Louisians. How do you say that anyway?
St. Louisans.
St. Louisans.
You always have to differentiate between Northsiders and Southsiders.
We're not getting into that again. Cleared away, at least not yet. Michael Moriarty towards the midfield circle. Parra heading it back to his teammate, but coming away with it, Villa. Mark Villa slows it down, rifles the shot, goal! He slowed it down just enough and bangs the ball over Givens into the corner. And Scott Gallagher has taken the lead. The goal in the 50th minute. And some 25 yards away, the big man strikes again.
You won't find much finer long-range shots taken from any level from this range. And look at just tipping it is Brian Givens, but that ball reached so far into the upper corner. Initially, I believe it was Parra who tried to head back. Instead, a lot of space for Mark Villa to streak into, and he hesitates for a second here, then strikes a swerving ball that tails towards the upper corner, going off the fingertips of Brian Givens, and it's 1-0 for Scott Gallagher.
Nice goal for Villa. He scored a goal with an assist, coming in as a substitute in the semifinals against Clearwater. Todd Hunter, the man you also have to give a little bit of credit for. Hunter had a couple of goals in that Clearwater Chargers game. Nice dummy that time by Philip. Baklich tries to feed him back. Chris Lynch sending it down the line. Far side, Reagan Bender, who came in the first half as a substitute. Bender to Sahadak. Sahadak taken down some 40 yards away, and this one will be a little bit too hard for Alex Del Angel's good. It is a yellow card.
Physical play in the first half of play. Now a lead for Scott Gallagher. Trying to come back is Sahadak to get the equalizing goal for the FC Delco Force, but he's taken out.
And the yellow card against Scott Gallagher, the 6th of the game. Mentioned on the goal, you also have to give credit to Todd Hunter because he did a nice job protecting and giving a little bit of space for Phila by knocking Chris Lynch away. And that gave Phila just the edge he needed to pick out the corner and send it in. To the back post. And just shy of the flag, a throw-in for FC Delco, and hustling over to take it, Gus Zangrilli. Instead, he will leave it for Judah Cooks. Long throw. Into the middle. Kelly loses it. Banged high into the air by Todd Hunter.
Kelly banged by Judah Cooks before that, but no whistle.
Coming away with it, Parr. Hunter taken down, and a foul and a free kick.
The long throw, always a weapon for either team. Remember, Mark Phila has a good one for Scott Gallagher. This one is borderline illegal by John Rutland, and there's Kelly coming well off his line to try and retrieve it. He was bumped by Judah Cooks. The ball free, no goalkeeper there, but Kevin Kalish coming back to defend on the line for Scott Gallagher to try and cover for him.
Far side and pushing forward quickly. Pat Moriarty. Into the middle. Hunter tries to head it to the near side for Phila. Knocked out, and the rebound shot sent wide by Jeff DiMaria. The clock counting down as it does in MLS, but as we saw in the first half and mentioned, it'll stop at 2 minutes on the clock here in the stadium, and it will allow Alex Del Angel the opportunity to add some injury time if need be. Make up for wasted time. Pat Moriarty knocking it back to his brother Mike, who bangs it all the way down into the FC Delco end. Collins does a nice job covering for Pai Garcia's errant header. And back to Brian Givens, and we saw he was at full extension on the goal by Phila. There was not much more he could do.
Exactly. You can hardly fault the goalkeeper, Brian Givens, because that was a quality shot that had that swerve to it heading towards the upper corner, and Givens nearly got to it.
Rutland almost coming away with it. They're going to say it actually went off a Scott Gallagher player. Carlos Parra tries to split the defense. Rutland making a run. Can he get there before it goes out? The answer, yes. Back towards the penalty spot. In the middle, Cooks was waiting, but can't get the ball in. Zangrilli, and the shot just goes wide.
Deflected wide there by Ben Bockledge, number 9 for Scott Gallagher, and I believe that shot had Tim Kelly beaten.
Looked like he might have gotten a late reaction, might have been shielded.
Bockledge saved a goal in my book there. This chance here by FC Delco Force looking for the equalizer. Here's Zangrilli. Quickly turns. It's only partially cleared there by Kalish. Now the left-footed shot there, and it's tipped at the last second by Bockledge to put it wide. And I think he was going for that lower corner, and I don't think Tim Kelly, the Scott Gallagher goalkeeper, would have gotten to it.
So 10 minutes gone here in half number 2. And FC Delco almost equalizing. Low driven corner for Sahedek at the edge of the 6.
And the shot by Ben Olsen, I believe. Well taken. Bockledge, though, got his foot to it.
This one will roll harmlessly over the end line, and it will be a goal kick for Tim Kelly, who's breathing a sigh of relief. The last 2 AFC teams to go to the Super Bowl will battle in Japan tonight. It's the Chargers and Junior Seau taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're looking for a quarterback to replace Neil O'Donnell. This might be their chance to find out who it will be. The American Bowl on ESPN tonight at 10 Eastern Time. Substitute coming in. Adrian Cox wearing number 13 as Gus Zangrilli sits down, and it was Zangrilli with the hard effort down the near side that almost created the equalizer for FC Delco.
Each team limited to a maximum of 7 players used as substitutes, so you can't use more than 18 men. Also, you can only re-enter once during each half of play. So if you come off the second time, you're done for the game. And overtime would be considered to be part of the second half.
That's an overtime that many people who might be familiar with international soccer will have no problem understanding. 2 15-minute halves will play to its conclusion. So even if a goal is scored, the game would continue. No sudden death, no golden goal.
So even different from the European Championships, which was decided on the golden goal.
Going back to one of the greatest of all time, France, Germany, 82 semifinals, 4 goals scored in extra time. In the middle, Cooks tries to flip it back. Coming away with the Scott Gallagher defense. Kalish to the near side. Bestie. Hunter looking to make a run, but Collins cut him off nicely. And you can see perhaps why Todd Warasek liked Collins so much. He is the oldest player, but you're still talking about a 19-year-old here, and he uses his body well. He uses the space of the field well. You rarely see him caught out of position, and playing at Greensboro College might end up getting a chance before too long to earn some honors down there. Pushing forward, Adrian Cox, fresh off the bench. Sahedek bringing the ball to the right foot. Near side, looking for Rutland running on. Talked about the fact that overtime is basically a continuation of the second half. That's why Todd Warasek and Mike Gavane, his counterpart for Scott Gallagher, leave some of those substitutes in the second half and then bring back their original starters later. That way they don't have to worry about substituting them later and risking losing them for the extra session. You see that a lot in college. By Garcia with the left foot. Moriarty heading it back. Parra comes away with it. A nice move to elude David Pop and send it into the middle. This is a chance. Rutland nicely lays it off for Cooks, but the offside flag was up. The ball hits the twine, but they're going to call this one back. Good effort by Rutland, but Cooks had just pushed forward one step too far.
Judah Cooks breaking through. This ball cleared off the head of Pat Moriarty. And now just popping it through to Judah Cooks. Cooks bumped, tugged on, shoots right-footed, but the flag had already gone up for offside.
You can see Kalish, he was the last defender there, actually had to come back to get Cooks, so no doubt on that one. Remember, the under-20 national squad actually looked at by Bruce Arena, as you mentioned in the first half, Ty, might have been an Olympian. And he still might before his career is over. There's the man who was denied by the foot of Tim Kelly. Tim Sahadak from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 6 feet, 170-pound Tar Heel, going to North Carolina, and he just picked up a yellow card as they continue to come hot and heavy. Yellow card number 7 now on the day from Alex Del Angel. Filla, he's the goal scorer. Chris Lynch takes the ball away from him beautifully, leaving it to the middle for Garcia, who almost lost a leg clearing that one away as Filla charged in hard. Looking for the return pass from Olsen, but stepping forward, Mike Moriarty sending it down the wing. Hunter was giving chase, but Garcia will send it back to Gibbons. And FC Delco being pressed closer and closer to their own goal.
Each of these teams scored 4 goals in their respective semifinals to reach this national championship final game. And the Scott Gallagher team winning their game 4-2, but a 4-0 dominant game by the FC Delco Force.
Only giving up the late goal in the 88th minute when the game was already decided. Hunter down the wing to Di Maria, but the flag was up. Offside again, stymieing this chance for Scott Gallagher. They lead. Dan Collins, good look there as he has helped anchor the defense. Adrian Cox, Chris Lynch, Reagan Bender, Tim Sahadak all scoring, with Olsen and Armas picking up assists in their thrashing of the Columbine Jesters from Colorado, so they can score and score quickly. But here's another chance for Scott Gallagher in the middle towards the spot. Here's Hunter. Filla was open on the far side, in the middle, and cleared away. Rutland got a boot to it, but you could see Hunter was trying to find out where Filla was. When he finally found him, the defense was expecting the pass and cleared it away, but he was wide open on the far side. Into the middle. And Marit pushing forward for Cooks, who tries to split the defense. Moriarty heading the ball to Kelly, but Cooks pushing him from behind. So his bodies go flying everywhere. The foul against Cooks. It'll be a free kick just outside the area.
In frustration, number 8 for FC Delco Force, Judah Cooks, starting to throw his weight around. He's a dominant player in college already. He's a freshman at Maryland. And then shoving from behind on Pat Moriarty, he gets called for the foul.
Here's Olsen, who had a shot deflected just wide moments ago.
The FC Delco Force out of Pennsylvania defeated the Columbine Jesters out of Colorado in their semifinal by a score of 4-1, giving up that goal, as you said, the 1 goal only in the 88th minute of play when the game was pretty much decided. Scott Gallagher in their semifinal defeated the Clearwater Chargers of Florida by a score of 4-2, but that was a much closer game.
Steve Armas getting set to come in. Maryland Terp in for John Rutland. Rutland playing for James Madison, as do several of his Delco Force teammates.
Remember, Steve Armas was robbed once in the first half of play from a free kick by Tim Kelly, the Scott Gallagher goalkeeper, who's made a huge difference in this game.
A cannon throw from Filla finds its way to the backside, only to be gathered in by Reagan Bender, and Bender sending it up but can't keep it in play, and a throw in for Scott Gallagher on the offensive side of midfield. There's a good look at Rutland, the Westchester, Pennsylvania native. 5'11", 165 pounds. He has played his last of the day. And his touch, but for offside, to Judah Cooks might have given FC Delco the equalizer. Todd Hunter taken away. Armas to the near side, and they'll try and find him. It was Armas's assist for the 3rd goal that really gave FC Delco the feeling that they were going to run away with that against Columbine. A long pass for Filla, and the delayed offside. The crowd booing a little bit, but I think that if Filla had not played that, if it just basically kept going, and the yellow card for delay basically for kicking that one away, little misunderstanding between Filla and the linesman. But remember, he was jogging back, and in the passive offside sense, he was not offside until he turned back around to play the ball.
Until he sought an advantage from that position. So initially it would be considered a passive offside. He wasn't involved in the play. Then he turned and tried to get involved, and that's when they put the flag up. That's the correct call.
Chris Lynch to the near side. Olsen trying to fight for the ball, as is Cox. Looks like Cox might have taken an elbow to the face a little bit as he grabs his nose. The throw-in will go in for Scott Gallagher. They lead it 1-0. The 50th minute goal by Phila.
Adrian Cox had the first goal of the game in the semifinal against the Columbine Jesters of Colorado with a bicycle kick. So something he'll never forget. Helped send his team into the national final.
I think he'd take a toe poke on the doorstep before this game is over.
Right now he would to tie it up.
Garcia. And you can see Mike Moriarty is pushed forward as Scott Gallagher trying to get something going. A lot of rotation on this team as Moriarty hustles back. Delco tries to take advantage of his absence, but they send it straight to Kevin Kalish, who has been almost perfect in the sweep position today.
Kevin Kalish, very steady back there, makes good decisions. He plays at UConn, so he's been able to go up to the Big East from St. Louis.
Bocklidge, the soft touch, Phila, and Bradley Jordan both around the ball, only to be cleared away by Cox. It'll be a throw-in about 5 yards away from the end line. More end-to-end here in half number 2. There have been some fouls, some yellow cards, but good chances for both teams. And Scott Gallagher much more even in the offensive half in half number 2. Headed clear by Garcia. It will be a corner kick for Scott Gallagher. And let's take a quick look back. This chronological order: Pop, Armas, Moriarty, Zahadak, Garcia, and Parra all going in the book. And Phila getting one for his misunderstanding and rifling it towards goal when the offside flag and whistle had already blown. Hunter, the corner kick. Cooks gets ahead on it. Near side, gathering at number 14, Mark Bestie. Bestie sending it down the left flank. Here's Ben Bocklidge. His cross leaving a little bit to be desired. Carlos Parra, the only man around. He gets it to Olsen. Olsen tries to step over it and does a nice job. Brings it back. In the battle with Bestie, he comes out best, only to be taken down. Keeping the ball for the force, though. Far side, Cox. All the way to the near side for Armas. Had the chance to see his blast off a free kick.
Got to see his skill there, bringing that long-range ball from the opposite side down on his chest.
Got the nice back heel as well from Lynch. And here's the ball to the far side, just over the bar. Parra was trying to send that win in for Cooks, but it almost rolled into the upper corner.
So 7 players now on the field with yellow cards, and that's going to be a factor in this match. A second yellow card for any of them would mean their ejection. So players have to play differently here. Carlos Parra, I don't believe he was shooting this ball. I think he was trying to send it far post. He got under it too much, but it scared Tim Kelly at least a little bit, the Scott Gallagher goalkeeper, as he had to come back for it.
There's a good look at number 3, his first time onto the field. Scott Regina, the 19-year-old from UMass, 5'9", 145 pounds, another one of the Bethlehem, Pennsylvania products.
And described by his coach Todd Warasek as the ultimate utility player. So see what he could do.
Make more than Steele in Bethlehem, and hopefully a few good soccer players if you're an FC Delco fan. Oh, Aaron touch this time, sending it right back. Bradley Jordan to Tim Zahadak with a lot of green in front of him. The left foot shot, and he couldn't put it past the near post. It looked like he tried to catch Kelly napping. Instead, a goal kick. What had been a golden opportunity instead goes awry.
Number 7, Tim Zahadak, able to retrieve this ball after it was given up by Brad Jordan. Zahadak has good wheels, and he also has a lot of confidence in a left foot, and he strikes this with a great deal of power. But he puts it outside that near post. He had options, including Ben Olsen over at the back post, number 9 for FC Delco. But he elected to take the shot from long range anyway.
Regina with the throw. Dan Collins, who's been all over the field today. Garcia. Near side, they'll use Lynch, wearing the number 15. Glenside, Pennsylvania native from Seton Hall.
Lynch also
taken down.
Lynch also had a goal in the semifinal against Columbine of Colorado, the Jesters. Lynch providing the second goal, which technically was the winning goal.
Alex Del Angel having a few words for Philip for his hard challenge on Parra. Into the area, looking for Zahadak. Cooks comes away with the clearance to the near side for Lynch. Tries to get ahead on it. He might have done better just trying to slow the ball down. But another chance for Delco fizzles.
FC Delco Force out of Philadelphia have players from 5 different states, though. They've assembled this team over the last couple of years. They have players from Delaware, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Maryland, as well as, of course, Pennsylvania. So a bit of an all-star team. 5 of these FC Delco Force players have played with the under-20 national team, so they are star-studded, but they trail a blue-collar Scott Gallagher team out of St. Louis.
Hara, Phila, and Hunter both combined to knock the ball free, and they do get the throw in. Hunter coming up a little bit lame. Parade All-American. Playing at SIU Edwardsville. Mark Phila, the St. Louis University prospect. Phila scoring in the 50th minute, while all the way at the other end, Tim Kelly's been forced to make 6 saves, some of them spectacular.
That sums up the game right there, because Tim Kelly kept Scott Gallagher in the game, kept it 0-0 until Phila could score.
Bestie's shot sends it straight into the arms of Brian Givens. Near side, Armas, who has been somewhat quiet here in the second half since coming on as a substitute. You can see Cox caught a little bit of surprise. If he'd been running all the way, might have been able to get there in time. Does come away with it, though, and no foul. Into the middle, Sahadak. Far side, the ball goes all the way across the end line, giving chase. Regina, but he can only watch it go across. He will get a corner, though. Good hustle by Cox down on the near side, though, to prevent that one from going over for the goal kick, and a scoring opportunity for the Force.
FC Delco Force not been terribly successful on the corner kicks.
Talked about them being a smaller team earlier. They try the short corner. Here's Olsen. The shot deflected off the crossbar, and they're going to call this one a penalty. In addition to hitting the crossbar, it hit the arms of one of the defenders. Let's see if they pull out the red, and they will. Not only will FC Delco get the chance to equalize, they'll play the remaining 18 minutes plus a man up and overtime if there is some. This could be the turning point.
Scott Gallagher's sweeper, number 7, Kevin Kalish, ejected for the deliberate handball on the goal line, and instead of going for the high ball, they know they don't have the height advantage. They try the short corner, and it's Ben Olsen striking a ball here, and it's deflected on the way in, fooling the goalkeeper Tim Kelly. There's Kalish putting his right fist and forearm up onto the ball to keep it out of the goal. Now it'll be a penalty kick for FC Delco.
So Kevin Kalish, after a brilliant game, will sit frustrated and watch this one from the stands as Judah Cooks puts the ball 12 yards away. Tim Kelly has done everything asked of him so far today. Sometimes you need to make that one extra save, and this might be the chance. But 12 yards away from tying it up, Judah Cooks with the right foot rolls it wide. Kelly diving to his left. Cooks had a wide open net, and he tried to trick him and sent it wide.
Judah Cooks, number 8 for FC Delco Force. Think about it. It's a national championship, the National Youth Championship. Here's how the penalty kick came about. Kevin Kalish using his hand on the ball on the goal line to save the goal. The penalty kick resulted from that. Kalish was ejected, and look at Judah Cooks. He did get Tim Kelly to go the wrong way, but he missed the corner of the net by several feet, and Tim Kelly, he didn't save that one, but he's been the man of the match.
The sheet's still clean, but remember, with Kalish out, FC Delco will now have the man advantage. There is only 16.5 minutes left, though, for Scott Gallagher to hold on. And here's a chance for Phila. Cuts inside Garcia. Blasts it past Givens, but the deflection as he was diving backwards sends it out. Bucklich's shot flies harmlessly wide. Mark Phila almost made it 2-0, but Brian Givens reached back and pulled that one out of nowhere.
Phila had overpowered a couple of defenders, then he takes the right-footed shot, and Givens has to punch it away. He's left his feet, and there's a chance for a rebound. A bad angle shot. Really, Phila trying to bend it towards that far post, but Brian Givens stood the test and was able to punch that one away.
So the score remains 1-0 for Scott Gallagher. And the pass from Armas finds the arms of Kelly.
Tim Kelly will take his time. Scott Gallagher, of course, with the lead, a national championship at stake. And FC Delco, of course, they're going to have to resort probably to some more high balls into the box. But Gallagher still has that height advantage that we talked about. But they are a man down.
And as we talked about, the last time they had the corner kick, they actually worked the ball well around the flank. And they don't have the height, but they did have some skill and almost knotted it up.
Well, Ben Olsen got himself a nutmeg there, but those don't count on the scorecard.
Put that up on the scoreboard at home, but it won't win you a cup. Throw in right now by midfield, and a substitute coming on for Scott Gallagher. Good look there at a worn out Todd Hunter. Stepping in, Eddie Schoenbein. Had been thinking of going to UCLA. Instead, Southwest Missouri State, 6'2", 180 pounds. What must be going through Judah Cook's mind right now? Battling to hold on to possession, does nicely, getting it back to Cox, pushing it forward, but taken away by the Missouri defense.
Any player that's taken a lot of penalty kicks eventually misses one. You just hope it's not in a national final. And Judah Cook's obviously feeling that pressure there. 1975, I was playing in this game, the McGuire Cup final. It went to penalty kicks after overtime. I felt the pressure.
Nice chance on the far side. However, the cross picked up with little problem by Brian Gibbons. So you're going to just leave us on the edge, Ty?
I managed to put my penalty kick away. It was the first one. There's actually less pressure on them. Pushing. At that time, they only took 3 each rather than 5 each.
Pushing and shoving. Olsen finally gets the ball for the free kick off the foul. Nice ball. Finding it to Cox. Adrian Cox sending it into the middle, looking for Cooks. Near side Philly. It's his goal that's been the difference in the score column. And Dan Collins comes away with the ball again. The big #2 for FC Delco in the back has done everything he can. Uh-oh, here's a chance. Ben Olsen almost cut inside of Pat Moriarty. Remember, the key also, not so much for Scott Gallagher playing a man down, but the man that's missing is Kevin Kalish. He's the emergency man. If there's a hole somewhere in the defense, he goes over to help close it.
Kevin Kalish, their most intelligent defender. He reads the game the best out of all of them. But right there, Moriarty, Pat Moriarty, #2 for Scott Gallagher, filling in very nicely in the central defense for Scott Gallagher in the absence of Kevin Kalish, who was ejected for that handball on the goal line. Judah Cooks, though, could not convert the resulting penalty kick.
Jeff DiMaria sending it all the way across. Looked like he might have just been wasting a little bit of time in the throw in quickly. Whole world watching the X Games going on the road. And if you didn't get enough from the X Games, check out Destination Extreme. Various events from BMX to inline skating, and you'll see it tonight, 11:30 Eastern. Far side, Jeff DiMaria. It is 2 against 4 right now as Scott Gallagher content with staying on defense, but DiMaria doing just enough to hold off Parra, drawing the foul, and this will be a chance for Scott Gallagher to waste a little bit more time and perhaps add to their scoring total as Mike Gouvain, the head coach, looks on.
Run up top. Good dribbling technique by DiMaria in the corner there, but also good tactical thinking. The longer he held the ball and dribbled deeper into the FC Delco end of the field, the more clock he's eating up and the more chance he's giving his depleted team to get some oxygen back in their system.
Phillip brings it down nicely, tries to lift it through, but cannot get it to Brad Jordan. Olsen coming all the way back. Sahadak making a run. To the near side, it's Lynch, and Olsen will use him. And actually 6 players pushing forward for FC Delco. The bad pass, though, giving it right back to Scott Gallagher. They actually had the advantage there.
Good read there by David Pop, #3 in the back for Scott Gallagher. Also filling in for the lack of their sweeper, Kevin Kalish.
Jordan on the far side against Scott Regina. Jordan getting it inside to Bestie. Far side Armas. What would have happened if Kelly had not been strong enough to push his shot wide early? Cox through for Collins on the overlap. Collins to his left foot. Collins taken down, actually lost his footing a little bit. He did a nice job holding on to the ball, but he's a defender. He was looking for someone to pass it to, and there was no one there.
Swarm tackling by Scott Gallagher. First of all, with Mike Moriarty, number 6, and then also tracking back finally as he got caught a little bit was Mark Filla, called upon to do some defensive work there.
Chris Lynch will take his seat. 19-year-old from Glenside, Pennsylvania, working hard. Correll is back in there. Cook's losing his footing. FC Delco got another chance, but headed clear. Near side, Olsen with the flick on. Cox tracking it down. He has been a workhorse for FC Delco. The deflected cross in the middle. This could be a problem, but Kelly handles it.
Kelly handled it so well because he's under heavy pressure out in front by Steve Armas. Armas piling into him, but Kelly still holding on to that ball.
Olsen goes down hard. This will be a foul against Olsen coming over the back. And you could see Jeff DiMaria having a few words. Obviously a size difference there. 6'1", 180 pounds for Collins, and he came down totally on the 5'8", 155-pound Jeff DiMaria.
Jeff DiMaria pushing up a little bit here, trying to get something going offensive, going for this high ball, but all over his back. Dan Collins for FC Delco forced the foul now in favor of Scott Gallagher, and it's really right now the Moriarty twins holding the defense together for Scott Gallagher as they are a man down, less than 10 minutes remaining, trying to defend this lead and win a national title at the under-19 level.
A tackle to DiMaria. I've seen WWF matches end on hits softer than that.
Mike Moriarty there getting a foot to a ball. Otherwise, Armas would have broken through.
Armas back to Cox. Armas trying to give him a pass, and he will take it away from him. Swinging it to the far side for Parra, who's pushing up. Remember, Scott Gallagher playing a man down. Oh, what a nice tackle that time by Botledge as Parra tried to dribble it around him. Parra giving chase. Mark Bestie sending it back out. Every single one of the Scott Gallagher players on the defensive side, and all but Filla are back around the goal area. Here's Cox sending it down the line, but it rolled just into touch, just past Olsen, and a throw in for Scott Gallagher as more time ticks off the clock. Just over 8 minutes left.
Todd Warasek trying to make adjustments to look for the equalizing goal for the FC Delco force. Delco starting to go to more high balls into the box as the seconds tick away.
By Garcia. Far side, Scott Regina.
Judah Cooks has moved up into a more front-running forward role for FC Delco force, and Sahadak is now at midfield.
Sahadak tried to send the ball into the area looking for Cooks. Hard tackle by Cox. Filla dribbled past him, but he couldn't get past Collins and Parra, and Garcia comes away with the loose ball for FC Delco. Nice try to get it splitting the defense, but again can't get it past and overmanned Scott Gallagher.
Well, talk about an unsung hero. Number 6, Mike Moriarty, one of the twins playing in back for Scott Gallagher. They're a man down. They're holding on now.
Near side, Regina's come to the right side. Knocking it back for Cox. Into the middle for Armas. Armas trying to get to the end line, tries to get the corner, but the other Moriarty twin, Pat, sends it across the end line and sends a message as well. It will be a corner kick.
Scott Gallagher coach Mike Gavane said about the Moriarty twins, they just love to play. They want to come out and play every day, and these guys hang tight together.
Armas corner kick over Kelly, but over the end line. It will be a corner kick from the far side. Nope, they will say a goal kick. They're going to say that one rolled out before anyone touched it. Good look at Gavane earlier. He has the chance to have the rare honor winning a title both as a coach and a player. Might be a little too early to celebrate yet with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Irregardless, he had some great comments about this group of Scott Gallagher players. He said it usually only took 2 phone calls to track them all down because they're all hanging out over at each other's houses, especially at Dave Pop's house, their number 3. And he said they wanted to practice constantly. When there weren't practices for the Scott Gallagher boys team, they would go over and train with the women's team because they loved the game so much. But they got a tough 5 minutes and 52 seconds to go here against a very talented and star-laden FC Delco Force squad with 5 under-20 national team players in the lineup.
And Judah Cooks, one of those players, had the chance to equalize after Kevin Kalish knocked the ball down with his arms in the box. But Cook's penalty kick rolled wide by a yard with an open net gaping in front of him. He might get another chance before this one's over. Probably not from the spot, though. And there would be overtime if they do tie it. Here's Sahadak, who was denied twice by Kelly in the first half. And he's giving chase now as Jeff DiMaria again running towards the sidelines and sending it down to try and get time to run off the clock. And a smart move by the youngster.
Send it to the corner flags. Better yet, dribble it to the corner flags. But when that's not possible, eat up some of the clock.
Under 5 minutes to go. Para. Olsen coming back, showing himself nicely. Regina is open down the flank, but Olsen tried to cut inside, and a good tackle, sending it back towards midfield. Filla, the only man there, and he is a one-man army.
Eddie Schoenbein making the defensive play a moment ago on the slide, number 13 for Scott Gallagher.
Sahadak, as you mentioned, back in the midfield on the left side. Sahadak and Dave Pop. Sahadak gets the cross in, back post. Regina sends it across. Collins sends it wide. He tried just to side-foot it into the net. That's his second chance here in the last 10 minutes, and this one rolled wide. We talked about it being unsung, but now you might be able to tell why he's playing defense.
Good attack here by FC Delco. Sahadak with the good cross all the way to the back post, headed back down across. So dangerous here, and on the left foot of Dan Collins. He just didn't get enough behind it. Tim Kelly doesn't like to see that. It was Bocklage who was beaten at the back post on the head ball.
Gutsy move by Regina, though. You could see him. He knew Bocklage was going to nail him on that header.
Piled into him as Regina wisely headed the ball back across the face of the goal for the best scoring chance that FC Delco has had in quite some time.
Barra to the near side. Nice tackle that time by Moriarty, sending it all the way back to Brian Givens' net. Very little has been going on around Givens' goal in the second half, especially since the penalty and the ejection. Scott Gallagher focusing in on defense. They are 3 minutes and 20 seconds away from hoisting the McGuire Cup again for the third time. FC Delco, a little bit over 3 minutes to play. Para, smart move. Sends it through, a floater. Armas giving chase. Kelly comes out to punch it wide.
Kelly really risking a lot to get out to the edge of the box there. He has played so aggressively, and it's paid off for Scott Gallagher.
Near side, Cox. Back to Para. Cox in the corner, guarded by Schoenbein. Does get the second attempt at the corner at the cross in. But good defense will not even give them the corner kick. It's across the sideline for the throw. Judah Cooks had been taking these long throws, but he's in the middle as they try and find him. Armas, a low driven cross.
Judah Cooks, number 8 for FC Delco, definitely making a point of lurking right in the 6-yard box out in front of the goal of Tim Kelly.
Here's Para with the shot towards the upper corner, and it just floats over it. Para.
There's Judah Cooks. Actually, that's Carlos Para. Judah Cooks further up in front of the goal. His switched positions totally with Sahadak. Sahadak has become a midfielder. Carlos Para, look at that pedigree. He'll go on to Maryland to become a freshman this fall and play there with a couple of his current teammates with this FC Delco team, both Judah Cooks and Chris Armas. I think that's Steve Armas. We're talking about a guy in the MLS.
No relation, but they both might be collecting paychecks from the same source before too long. Under 80 seconds left to go. Plus injury time. There has not been much of it. Remember, Remember, unlike Major League Soccer, the clock can tick down to 0, but it's up to the referee. Here's Cooks as he flicks the header wide. Olsen was standing there. He might have had a chance if Cooks hadn't got a head on it.
Judah Cooks, an ever-present danger out in front of Scott Gallagher goalkeeper Tim Kelly. He had a couple guys going up with him, including Pat Moriarty. But still, he was up above all of them, but was not able to direct the header on goal.
A strategic substitution for Scott Gallagher as more time will tick off the clock. Vince Pinion steps in. Taking a seat, Brad Jordan, who has played hard today. Pinion from St. Louis. Most likely will be heading to Southwest Missouri State. The ball coming all the way down towards Givens, who faces Filla and sends it back upfield. 20 seconds plus injury time left. The foul against Scott Gallagher in the middle. Here's a chance for Cox. Garcia's pushed forward. Sahedek has it out on the left. Good tackle that time by Pinion, fresh off the bench to win the ball away and send it back to midfield. Collins with injury time plus seconds. Para this time gets the shot on goal, and it knuckles into the hands of Kelly. He has to bounce it down, but no one was on the doorstep, so no problem.
That ball knuckled. Carlos Para does have a good right foot, and he threatened from long range there. Vince Pinion, who just came on for Scott Gallagher, his dad played on a National Junior College Championship at Florissant Valley Community College.
All the way back by Mike Moriarty. Ryan Givens